I mean, I was going to compare it to like a hot wings thing, like where this movie, I mean, it's like you eat if you do hot wings all the time, eventually it's just like, yeah, this isn't spicy. But then like when you get to a certain age, like the next day, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like you're pushing flaming hot Frosties the next day. And it's like, it's like, it's all good. It's nothing, blah. And then the next day it just hits you. And I feel like this movie was kind of like that.
I have a Frosty in that fridge and I'm sad. I don't know if I'll ever be able to.
Sorry.
You need to copyright that. I'm stealing that, Jesse.
Hello and welcome to Library Grindhouse. The only ticket you need is your library card. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Leah. And today we'll be giving you our top 5 reasons why to watch the 1999 film Audition.
All right, Leah, but first, why don't you hit him with that spoiler-free plot summary?
A widower sits in on an audition for a new show with the thought in mind that he would find a new wife. This slow burning until the fuse hits the dynamite of a movie will leave you knowing to be careful what you wish for.
The fuse hits the dynamite.
The fuse is going to hit the dynamite, let me tell you. It's going to...
I just want to boom goes the dynamite with it.
You should do it. Just insert.
Fuse goes the dynamite. It's like Fetch, trying to make it a thing. All right, Leah, what's number 5 on your list of reasons to watch this film?
Intense phone staring. I must say, this movie, so the entire time I was watching it, I was waiting for something to happen. Mm-hmm. You know, we have a director that is known for just, I don't know, being over the top, I guess, to put in a polite way.
Sure. Yeah.
So when they're staring at the phone, I'm expecting something to happen. No, just intense phone staring. And this movie has a lot of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, staring at phones, yeah.
Which is still really funny to me. I don't know. I find this stuff really funny.
But was she more staring at the wall?
But he was staring at his phone. He was staring at his phone, and then she was kind of staring at the phone.
I mean, the phone's there.
It was back and forth thing for like a while. It was, intense phone staring.
Cool. I like that number 5.
It's probably the most intense phone staring I've seen in a while.
And it's fun, flashback to different phones.
Oh,
like
yeah,
old phones.
absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. There's one with like a nice little shoulder, cradle on it.
I know, right? Kind of miss those, right? All right, number 5. All right. The dad giving his son a huge thumbs up of approval for the girl he brought home. My dad kind of did this once, so it brought back a fun memory, and it made me like their dynamic a lot. It seemed like they had a good relationship despite the son bringing on the nightmare to come with his careless comment about that he should remarry. So it's all his fault.
It's not all his fault.
Oh, it is all his fault.
He was trying to make his dad happy. I feel like that's a hard thing for a son to say with like a mom who passed away to be like, go for it, Dad.
I mean, I guess it'd been lots of years, and I think maybe he was just like, Dad, I'm cool with it. Like, I think it's time, and I got that. It just, if he had never said that, maybe none of this would have happened.
No, I feel like if the guy would have just trust all of his gut feelings, all of the red flags being thrown at him, there were probably like 50. So
I kind of
totally all his fault.
Son. Blame the son.
Blame the son.
I just love that thumbs up. It's just
I know.
Way to go, son. I was like, oh my gosh, my dad did that, like almost that very thing. Like I was just like, that's hilarious.
Yep.
Anyway.
There's gonna be a return of that, don't worry.
Cool. Number 4.
My number 4, what's in the bag? It is far worse than Gwyneth. I will tell you that. That is all I'm going to tell you. Far worse than Gwyneth. And I know Gwyneth was in a box and this is a bag, but still, what is in the bag?
I mean, spoilers.
I was just saying that. Well, they don't know. It's a bag. What is in the bag?
Well, no, but for 7.
Yeah, but I mean, they still.
Okay. I mean, you better know. If you didn't, I do. But
well, I mean, you still kind of don't know.
Fair. I mean, that bag, that burlap sack.
Yes.
I mean, it's just there, and like what I'd seen this movie once before, and obviously I had no reason. I'd never want to see it again. So you're welcome. I had to rewatch this thing, and so watching it, I'm just like, even when nothing's happening with the bag, I'm just like, wait for it. Always coming, and it's just great.
This is my first time watching it. So at first I was like, this is just going to prove how much of a blonde I am at points in time in my life. But I was like, that's a weird laundry bag. That woman has a lot of laundry. And I was like, and it's just in the middle of her floor. Like, I was just like, oh, are they trying to show that she's like shabby upbringing or something? Like she doesn't have a lot.
Okay.
So she just has a burlap sack, like lumpy sack, or maybe that's her bedding.
That's her dresser or something. Like all her clothes are in there. Yeah.
You know, forgetting who the director is. Just obviously that's placed there for some reason. But I was just sitting there. I'm like,
and then when it moves.
Yes. And I jumped.
I was going to ask, did it get you?
Yes,
okay.
It got me. It got me good. There were a few parts in this movie that got me good.
I was just staring at it mad, like, I will not. You will not get me, sir.
You're holding your chair the entire time.
I know. You never forget it.
I refuse.
I will not jump. I know it's coming. I don't remember when because it's been almost 20 years. But
which time of the intensive phone staring?
Yeah, the phone staring you won't remember. That you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, what's your number 4, Jesse?
My number 4. I love how into dinosaurs the son is, and that he found a lady friend who's all about the dinos too. There's something charming that he's a teenager and has a room filled with dino figures and like CD-ROMs and stuff. I'm just like, that's sweet, but also just like, my dude, what is happening? What is this? I
feel like it just shows how kind of sheltered he was with his dad. I think he was just so. They kind of took care of each other and you know what I mean? And I think it kind of kept him a little.
I guess it's the part of him that's still kind of arrested development. Like he's into the science of it and he's relatively mature. He seems kind of the world in terms of his like meeting girls and bringing them home and taking them out and stuff. Like that he has a healthy life, but maybe this is just the one aspect where he just kind of hung on to a part of childhood maybe longer than he should have. Or it's just, that's how you get a paleontologist is that they just, it matures as they age.
Maybe. Because I thought it was really cute when he was like, they found a new dinosaur. They found something.
Right.
And like, that's why he was trying to hurry up with his dinner. And I'm like, oh, it's because it's a girl. And like, no, it wasn't the girl. They found a new dinosaur.
It's literally, it was just funny. I just
like, oh, well, it's endearing.
And I'm glad he found someone who at least pretends to dig it. I don't know, which is cool. So good for him.
I agree with that.
All right, Leah, what's your number 3?
My number 3 kind of piggybacks off of your number 5. So it's the father-son relationship that is so charming, yet somehow still dry. Like, I don't know if that is, I'm not very well versed in Japanese culture, so I'm not sure if that's sort of a cultural thing.
True, yeah, I'm not sure either.
Or if it's just them growing up sort of like with an empty space since his mom wasn't there. I wasn't sure what that was all about, but it was still charming. And then I put, and also the, she's a good catch, okay, wink smile thing. And I'm just like, it's completely universal.
It is
universal.
It's awesome.
I feel like this is just a dad-son thing, like, good job.
Nice job, son.
Good job. Oh, I thought it was just funny. I want that, like, GIF. I want the GIF bad.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's even better than the Chuck Norris thumbs up for me because there's a sweetness to it of just like, man, like they've been through a lot and they have a pretty healthy relationship. Like they're taking turns doing the dishes and stuff, and like they have a dynamic of like, you know, they just get it done together. Like they
care about each other. Like they take care of the dog. They take care. Like they're just very communicative too. So it's just
because it could be totally dysfunctional. Like
absolutely.
and he's a teenager, and it's like, I mean, granted in Japan there's more of a respect for elders thing. I mean, obviously Battle Royale claims there isn't. That's a whole other movie and thing. But I mean, but in this case, it seems like he has respect for his dad. But they also, it goes beyond that. There's actual love and affection there, which is cool. It's one of those things where, gosh, you need that
in
this movie.
Yes, you do. You definitely do. Be prepared.
Oh, there is no preparing. I mean, you kind of, if you want to watch this, you have to rip the Band-Aid off. It's
be mindful of the minute synopsis. It is a very slow burn.
Yeah.
So don't think just because, you know, the first hour is all hunky-dory,
Oh no. I mean, relish it.
Yes.
Relish it. Like, drink it in.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to be gone.
Yes. All right, Jesse, what's your number 3?
My number 3, the fact that I was never bored during the slow burn
I wasn't
of that first part of the movie, because I knew nothing happened. I knew pretty much nothing happened. But somehow, I mean, it may have helped that I knew it would get crazy later.
Maybe, but
I mean, you have to wait a really long time for much to happen. But I don't know if somehow it worked.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's a testament to the director or I don't know.
I completely agree. Because at first I was just like, okay, this isn't. I actually waited until it was daylight to watch this, just because I'm like, I don't know if I should watch this at night.
Sure.
So as I was watching this, I was like, oh, I could have done this. I was like, why does everyone say that they don't want to watch this again? Like, I was very like, something like massive has to happen for me to be like, I don't want to watch this again.
So have you ordered the Arrow Blu-ray for your collection?
No, I'm okay. Especially someone who's terrified of needles. Spoiler alert. I didn't know that. All right. Yeah.
Oh no.
This one got me. One of my numbers was going to be that this was one of the first movies, and I normally don't do this, where I had to stop watching it on the television and put it on my iPad so that I could cover my hand with a portion of it as I was still reading the subtitles.
Oh no.
It only happened for a few, but I was just like, oh my. Like, so yeah. So I mean, that could be a reason to watch it in itself. I'm not like, seriously, because I typically don't get that way with movies whatsoever. I
mean, I was going to compare it, like I talked to you about this earlier, like a hot wings thing, like where this movie, I mean, it's like you eat like you, if you do hot wings all the time, eventually it's just like, yeah, this isn't spicy. But then like when you get to a certain age, like the next day, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like you're pushing flaming hot Frosties the next day. And it's like, you know, it's like, it's all good. It's nothing, blah. And then the next day it just hits you. And I feel like this movie was kind of like that.
I have a Frosty in that fridge and I'm sad. I don't know if I'll ever be able to.
Sorry.
You need to copyright that. I'm stealing that, Jesse.
Pushing Frosties. It's how we do it on the Grindhouse. All right, Leah, what's your number 2 reason? Speaking of number 2s, what's your number 2 reason to watch this film?
Oh, boy. Just wait, because I bring up turds in another one.
Yes. Thumbs up.
Turd's like one of my favorite words to say, so it was great. Anyway, the camera work. So there is one particular part, which I don't want to give away too much, but it's a first-person view camera work into a house. And it actually really set the mood. It was like the switch between the slow burn and all of the action. You could kind of like actually feel it happening through the camera work.
Okay.
Which I thought was really neat. Like, I thought it was really, really cool how they did that. And it just left you very unsettled, even though you didn't see anything unsettling, which is pretty much the whole premise of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see anything unsettling, but you're somehow like, something's off.
Oh,
and that camera work was just amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the dude's talented. Yeah.
It was very...
I mean, he's not... I mean, he's kind of hacky and schlocky at times. I mean, you don't make over 100 movies and have all of them be like Gone with the Wind. Or not, that's a bad example, but like Citizen Kane or whatever. Name like the greatest movie of all time sort of thing.
Yes.
And it's, you know, but he has something.
Absolutely.
And,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. There's always like certain directors bring something a little different. Like, I mean, obviously Quentin Tarantino was one of them, where all of his movies seem Quentin Tarantino-esque.
But they're completely ripped off of everything else. Like, I literally remember reading an article about the making of Kill Bill Volume 1, and he kept telling the cinematographer, okay, here, give me a Leone. And here, give me this. And he basically had a cinematographer watch a whole bunch of movies. So they had that shorthand of like, okay, here I want a Leone. And this is what and he knew exactly what he meant by it.
That.
But that's the thing though. But somebody could do that and make a terrible movie. He does it and makes art.
Yeah.
And that's the thing where he knows how that's going to fit together. Like, and he knows why that the technique is so effective. And he knows that that's the technique he needs for this shot. I mean, that is often the creation of art, is you take all these different influences and only like a master can put it together in a way that makes any kind of sense or cohesive.
Well, and it's still his own in a way.
Absolutely it is. I mean, he's a sum of all his influences, but he channels those influences so well that he makes compelling cinema.
I still didn't know that. That's interesting. All right, what's your number two?
My number two. All right. The sheer absolute horror and depravity of the ending. I mean, it is legendary for a reason. I mean, it is...
Yes. Like I said, I have several people.
It's the only reason you watch this movie.
Yeah, several people that I have known have seen it multiple times, and they're like, "Are you sure you want to watch it?" And about halfway through, I'm like, "Why are they even saying that?
Why? Yeah, yep.
What is going on?" And then the ending is like,
can they not handle people staring at the phone? Like,
what is this? Like, why?
Do they have a phone phobia?
It's not a man trying to fall in love. Like, what is that scary?
And it's weird. It is kind of scary. It's weird.
It is scary, but
I mean, it's weird.
Yes, because the man just does red flag after red flag is going in front of him. He's just
yeah, I
gotta find her.
Yeah, I'm just like, my dude, like, yeah. And the whole audition thing, to be fair, is horrifying. That is
horrifying.
It's weird.
But I feel like that is exactly what it is like. Maybe not anymore. Hopefully not.
Well, now there's apps. I mean, you're literally hosting auditions by going through Tinder or whatever.
I thought you were. No, they were hosts, but they were saying that it was for a TV show.
Yeah, but I mean, and there are some skee-ball producers who I guess try
That's what I mean,
that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they don't necessarily go into that. It's more along the lines of like, well, if I see anyone that catches my eye, as opposed to like the whole reason they're even doing this is to find the guy a wife.
A wife, that is true. Which I did think was kind of funny how they were like, no, you won't want to date the lead. You're like, no, it won't be the lead. You'll do like the top 10 somewhere within that range. You know that they're not going to get it, but no, it's just like, man.
Well, but then it's a conflict of interest to like date or marry the person. Like,
but I was just like, but if they weren't going to make the show to begin with, then.
Yeah, whoever would actually be the lead would be too good for you. Or they would know they're too good for you. And like he's older and she's so much younger, and that was just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I'm weird about that, but it was just kind of like she just seemed really young in some ways.
I like the fact how the son just like laughed that off when he found out too. He's like, she's more closer to my age, Dad.
Oh, I know. And I'm just like, well.
He just seemed like such a happy-go-lucky kid.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I don't know. And then, then her backstory, from what we could tell of it, which was weird. Like, there's a lot of flashbacks, and I'm not sure, like, whose point of view is this from, or is this reliable?
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it, at least his flashbacks, aren't reliable towards the end. I mean, obviously.
That's the only flashbacks we get.
But but with her flashbacks,
we actually get some that are specifically from her.
Oh, I guess not. Well,
because they come out of nowhere.
That's what I thought that they were. I thought they were actually her flashbacks, like that were happening when he was talking to like the ballet studio guy, and then there was a flashback, and it was her when she was younger. But he didn't say anything.
Exactly. So I wasn't clear of if he was imagining or if we're getting a window into something that he doesn't get.
I don't know. I guess he could have been imagining.
Well, Leah, what's your number one reason to watch this movie?
Because I said so.
Okay.
This movie, it was very good. And just like I think your number 3 stated, even during the slow burn, I wasn't bored. Like it kept my attention. It definitely made me curious as to like what was going to happen, what was going to unfold. I needed closure on this story. Like what is happening?
Sure.
But I would be okay with not seeing the end.
Okay.
I would be okay with being like, and cut, I remember, I'm good.
If you were to watch it again.
If I were to watch it again. I am happy that I watched it for this, like, one time.
I mean, if you've heard of this movie,
so many people talk about this movie. I've heard it from multiple friends of mine. And I've always been like, oh, I want to watch it. And they're like, yeah, we're okay. You can watch it on your own. One of those things. But it still makes you like, well, why? Like, I'm just like, why won't you guys
What's in the bag?
Yeah,
What's in the bag?
Why don't you guys want to watch this with me? I understand now. Why? But you should watch it one time. Like, especially if you're a horror buff, you should watch this. This is worth it. Like, You need to put this one in your movie bag.
Okay. Because we all have a burlap movie bag.
Yeah, we all have a burlap movie bag. It holds our laundry and our movies. Everyone knows this. That's what gives it the lumpy
And
texture.
nothing else.
And nothing else.
Nothing else. Nothing else in the bag. All right.
What's your number one reason, Jesse?
Because I said so. I mean, if you can stomach some really gnarly stuff, this film has quite a payoff. Not sure if it winds up meaning a lot to other than that, unfortunately. Sometimes people who have been hurt wind up hurting others. But I can safely say there isn't anything else like it out there. I mean...
That is true.
I mean, there are movies that are like a slow burn, but whenever I hear slow burn, it's like, oh, so the characters are going to walk around for like an hour and a half and then it's going to be insane for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie, it's like stuff is constantly like happening and there's character stuff and there's, you know, other things before everything happens. So
I feel like that's why like slow burn actually really works for this because it's still burning. Like it's actually like burning. It's not sizzle. It's not.
It's not just like weird. Everyone, like a person wandering the woods until they eventually come across the monster in the last 5 minutes. Like
this movie just leaves you kind of. It has that creeping, unsettling feeling, but yet there's still like some jolly characters.
Because unfortunately, you just can't unknow the fact that there's something messed up about this movie.
Yes.
And so you're just waiting. You're just waiting for it to happen. But while you're waiting, the movie's entertaining you.
Yes,
and
very much so.
And it's So if you think you can handle it, if you can handle those hot wings, I mean, you'll regret it the next day, probably.
Yes.
There's a reason why most people only want to watch this once and are done. And if you know someone who loves watching this over and over again, may unknow them. Because I'm not sure entirely what that says. Oh, that's my favorite movie. Yeah,
about that.
Yeah, there's a reason I bought it because no rental place had it at the time in the early aughts. And there's a reason I no longer have it because why would I want to own this movie? Not why I would want to see this movie. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, I saw it. I understand why everyone watches it once.
Yes.
But hey, you can watch it for free with your library card and never have to see it again.
Yes.
So anyway, those are reasons to check out Audition. So head on over to Canopy for Audition and check them out for yourself. For Library Grindhouse, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Leah.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.